So for part A, we have x plus 5 all over 8x plus x minus 7 all over 6x squared. What's missing in the first one? 6x? Okay. What's missing in the second one? Just an 8. Nice. So now if we multiply this through, we're going to get 48x squared and 48x squared. And 6x gets multiplied by this x plus 5. What are you going to have to do when that 6x gets multiplied by the x plus 5? You're going to have to distribute. So you're going to get 6x squared plus 30x. And over here, again, you can think of this in brackets, that 8 is going to get distributed. So you're going to get 8x minus 56. So now that we've got a common denominator, we can add the tops. There's a plus sign in between here, right? It'll all be over 48x squared, because that's our common denominator. We have some like terms, because 30x plus 8x will be 38x minus 56. So although you might be tempted to simplify just the 6 and the 48, right now you have to think this whole thing, all those adding and subtracting, is grouped together. Is there anything you can factor out of that? You can take out a 2. So if I take out a 2, that'll leave me with 3x squared plus 19x minus 28 all over 48x squared. Now you can look, because there's multiplication here, you've separated the top into 2 separate factors. And if I look at the 2 and the 48, yes, now I can simplify that. That will simplify to 1 over 24. Now this top is still grouped together. There's no common factor that you can factor out. And so this would be done. Now I was really happy that you guys decided to choose 6x and 8, because that meant later on we could factor something out and reduce it to a smaller one. Sometimes you'll just look and say, this one's missing an 8, this one's missing a 6. And you got 48 on the bottom. Can you see that 48 isn't the lowest common denominator between 6 and 8? You could have got it smaller if you had chosen 24. But then instead of 6x and 6x, you would do 3x and 3x, right? Because 3 times 8 is 24. And instead of 8 and 8, you would do 4 and 4, because 4 times 6 is 24. Had you done that, you would have got 24x squared as your denominator right away, and you wouldn't have had to factor to solve it. But it's not wrong if you get a bigger denominator and simplify later. So either way is fine. So if you can't find the lowest common denominator right away, it's not the end of the world, as long as you're checking to simplify in the end. So for part B here, again, if we're looking, what's missing in that first denominator? 5c and 5c. This will get grouped together. What's missing here? Just 3. And so we're going to get 15c squared d and 15c squared d. On the top here, when I distribute, I'm going to get 15c squared minus 10c, subtract 3c plus 24. So we make sure we distribute. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to make the most common student error. Okay? And some of you are going to make this same error, so you're going to have to look really hard to see what mistake I made. Okay? Now I've got a common denominator. I can put the tops together. I'm going to put my like terms together. 15c squared, negative 10c minus 3c minus 13c plus 24 over 15c squared d. If you see it right away, don't blurt it out loud. Let everybody have a chance to look at it. Yes, so where's the mistake? It should be minus 24, not plus 24. And the reason for that is when we have the subtraction sign here, that means we're subtracting all of this. Means that these two things are getting subtracted, and you'll have to distribute that negative to both of them. And it's super easy to forget that. So I did the right thing on the first one, right? Negative 10 minus 3 gave me negative 13, but I needed to also subtract the 24 and get minus 24. Now that it's a minus 24, we look, okay, the top is all adding and subtracting. This is grouped together. Is there a common factor? No. So then we would be done. So the ones we can do for this one are 6, 7, and 8.